Change. The word alone can be challenging. How do we get started? Where will the change lead? Don't sit there and worry about it. Be the change. Welcome to Be the Change Radio. Host Christina Bloom has been a professional psychic and spiritual advisor for 20 years, offering psychic and mediumship readings for individuals and groups. She also teaches several classes in psychic development and metaphysics. In addition, she is an author who has published 2 books so far and is the co-owner of Moonbow Publications and Productions, LLC. Are you ready for that change now? Here is your host of Be the Change Radio, Christina Bloom.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's good to be back after the winter break and the holiday break. It's great to be here. You're listening to Be the Change Radio on WLTK-DB.com, Paranormal Talk Radio. My name is Christina Bloom. I'm your host, and I'm so excited to be back on the air. You cannot even believe it. I am loving this. I have so missed it. I have a few things that I wanted to go over with you. Some of my schedule coming up in January, and I'm looking at my notes. I apologize. I just don't remember all of this. So this coming Thursday, I am doing a spiritual trance channeling on Zoom. And we can put in the chat where you can find all the information for that. It's on my meetup page, which is meetup.com/onespiritconnection/calendar. And that is where you can find all of my events. But this Thursday, the 6th, I'm doing a spiritual channeling. The 13th, I'm teaching channeling. So if you ever wanted to be able to trance channel, be able to bring in entities from, light beings and angels and that sort of thing, I'm going to be teaching how to do that. The regular Monday radio show guests are listed through January. I will have February and March up real soon, but it's on the same calendar. You can go to the same calendar on my meetup page. The 18th, on a Tuesday in the evening, I will be teaching psychic readings. So we will be able to play with psychic readings and give each other psychic readings. Whoever comes to the class will be both learning. Well, everyone will be learning, but you'll be both receiving and giving readings. So it'll be really good practice, maybe for those who have been out of practice or been out of it for a while and want to get back into it, or just want to come and play and have fun because it's a really fun class. Let's see what else we have going on here. As always, if you want a class, I have a list of classes that I teach on my website. Just go to christinabloom.com and under the services tab, scroll down. And at the end of that page is a list of about 20 different metaphysical classes that I teach. If there's something in there that sparks your interest and you want to schedule a class, let me know. We'll get it on the calendar right away. Let me see. Oh, we have such a great show for you tonight. It's unbelievable. I have Kelly Geisler Wilson coming on, and she is a soulpreneur. So we're going to want to be talking to her about what that even means. What is a soulpreneur coach? And I am just excited. We're going to talk about the importance of words. We're going to talk about energy management versus marketing. Lots and lots of really cool stuff. And, Kelly and I have a lot to talk about tonight. So I'm not even going to do a monologue. We're just going to bring her right in here and jump right in and get started.
Hello.
Hey, Kelly. I'm glad to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. So excited for tonight. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. Now, I know we've had a couple of conversations over the last few weeks, and every time we have a conversation, it gets longer and longer and longer. And boy, there's a lot of stuff that you are doing that is just really exciting. And so let's just start with, what is a soulpreneur coach?
So a soulpreneur coach, I'll answer that first, is really someone that's dedicated to help those spiritual entrepreneurs or heart-based entrepreneurs bring their gifts and share their gifts with the world, and doing so in a very heart, soul, energy, and action aligned way. And so we can all learn strategies. We can all learn tactics. And if you're likely a spiritual entrepreneur, and this is the experience I went through those normal courses and I said, yeah, great, but this isn't how I want to serve and contribute. This isn't how I want to bring my gifts to the world. And so that was the gap that I decided to fill too, of using all of me and my resources and my skills to help others. And one of the reasons that drives me is because I want to create ripples, because I know if I can inspire you to share your gifts and to show up and to be inspired, then you share, you inspire others, and then they inspire others. And that's how we create the ripple. So to answer your other question, what's a soulpreneur? So there's a couple things. One, it's really being of service to the collective experience. We're here to raise humanity's vibration. We're here to play our part of the cosmic plan. We are here to help and to serve. Another one is, I had to write these down because I knew I was going to lose some thought. So collaboration over power and control. So there's a shift. And I was in corporate America for 20 plus years. Corporate America, and I'm going to make an overgeneralization, but it's a pretty safe one, is very I'm going to say the toxic masculine or the power and control. I have shared so many stories with so many new entrepreneurs that left corporate to do it differently. And so the soulpreneurs want to do it differently. They want to bring in this new energy of being of service, of this heart, soul, energy, alignment piece of it. And again, it's about contributing. It's about recognizing that we are part of a whole and being of service to that whole.
That is amazing. I know we've had a lot of talks about this. We have talked at length about this and how it's almost like the traditional, or not, I don't even like the word traditional because it really hasn't been around that long, but the typical corporate America thing, it's just not working anymore. Mm-hmm. It's just not working. And if there is anything that we have learned over the last 2 years is that the workforce wants to do it differently.
Yes.
And so we are seeing a lot of upheaval in corporate America because the people at on the bottom rung are going, nah, it's not working.
Right. I would even think in the middle and top rungs too. They're saying there's got to be a different way to do this.
There's got to be a different way. And until it gets fixed, good luck hiring people. You know, it's one of those things where it hasn't been working for a long time. It didn't work for me when I was in college even. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's one of those things that as we're moving more into the soulpreneur type mindset, even in regular jobs, people are moving more into their mindset where it's like, I am my own career creator. Yes. And right now I'm working for you. And it's basically almost like every job has become a contract job. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have to say, I'm kind of loving that. But I want to get back to, like, we talked about all this stuff about invitation as opposed to talking someone into something. And I think that's one of the big shifts in moving from a corporate mindset to a soulpreneur mindset.
And even I'm going to say a classically trained entrepreneur mindset. That's kind of a new word, right? I was trained to close the deal and to keep them on the line and make sure that, they said yes. And, it came from a place of not of service is the best way I will say it, of not of service, right? So certainly if someone is having difficulties getting to their yes, and they want to explore how they can get to their yes and perhaps the financial aspect of it, there are ways to have that conversation in a very heart-centered approach to, again, say, how can we do this to make it in alignment with you and what you're up to in your life? And so I wanted to take that out of the conversation. So when I have my sales conversations now, which really aren't even sales conversations anymore, it's usually I'm delivering some service and providing value to my client and then offering them an invitation to come into my space and to work in this container, this chrysalis. So I'm known as the butterfly guide. And it is come inside this chrysalis. And sometimes it's a week or two. Sometimes it's 6 months and 9 months. And you go inside this chrysalis. We develop a very special relationship, right? It's confidential. It is meant for you to be able to be extremely safe and vulnerable because we're going to explore things together. Because also, so someone said to me when I started my soulpreneur journey that this would be your greatest spiritual walk, your greatest spiritual journey. And I felt so lucky because to be able to live and breathe my spiritual um, side all day, every day, I felt extremely lucky to do that. And it's true because you will be faced with challenges, you will be faced with problems, you will be faced with fears within you, outside of you. And so you're offered to join this chrysalis of support, this chrysalis of expansion. And it also helps you're here, and I'm just using this as an analogy. And one of my dear friends gave me this analogy of the Russian dolls. I use it all the time. And so you're here in the smaller Russian doll, and that coach in the chrysalis holds the larger container for you and teaches you and expands you into this larger container. That's what sales is. Sales is inviting you to come inside of that chrysalis and doing the work with you. To me, that's what sales means, instead of how can I get to your bank account? How can I get to your checkbook? How can we close the deal? It's, how can I serve you and how can we partner together?
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. I have to agree with you on, I get to live my best life every day. I get to live in that spiritual energy every day. And I can't imagine not living there. I've tried it. It does not work for me. I have tried to not live in that. And it is just the most beautiful thing. And that's the thing that I invite people into. You can do whatever it is you're doing in your life and still live this way, and still live in a way that honors your spirit and the spirits of other people while you're just living your life. And I think it's amazing that your work leads people to that.
Thank you. And
I
so
love that.
you just popped something in my head. When I was in corporate, I wasn't living authentically, right? I wasn't in my full soul expression. And to
Right.
me, that's always been my driving factor. I wanted to fully express myself and utilize myself and my gifts and talents. And being in a setting where you have to hide or you have to dim your light or not say those words because they're not going to be received. I had a very interesting experience last year in corporate when I really realized this is so not for me when I used the word magic in a meeting and someone reprimanded me in front of other people because I used the word magic in a corporate meeting. And I was put in my place for that. And I just sat there and said, wow, this is not my place. This is not where I can be who I am. And so being that soulpreneur, you are yourself. You are completely your soul's expression. And that feels so amazing, like you just said.
I love that. I love that. It was funny because I had a little flag go up when you said I was put in my place. No, you were put in someone else's place.
Yes, thank you. And I did not let, in the past, I gave away my power. And that was when I was really, waking up to, no, not going to let you have that one, and I did handle it in integrity with who I was. And yeah, so I was reclaiming my power certainly during that time.
That is a wonderful thing to hear. I love that because you are such a light and you bring so much light to the people that you touch. And to see a situation where someone is trying to I'm thinking of the candle snuffer, trying to snuff out your light. That's not okay. And we are, I think, coming to a point in the world where fewer and fewer people are allowing that to happen. Like, nope, you're not doing that to me. That's not okay. That is not okay. Not doing it. And let's talk about filters and fears, because we had this conversation before, and I want to hear your take on filters and fears. That's what I wrote down, was just those two words when we had that conversation.
I remember the filters. Let me think of the fears. So What I will say is when you choose the path to further soul alignment, so either that being on an entrepreneurial type journey or just living a more soul aligned life, you will have fears come up, right? And we all know fears are false evidence appearing real. First thing I want you to know is when those fears do come up, they are not here to stop you. And so you may be like, I remember originally being trained, let's say, in my intuitive work and just my spiritual work of, oh, if there's a block, that means it's not meant for me, right? Like trusting the flow of life, and a fear came up that might be perceived as a block, so that's not for me, I'm going to go a different direction. So I really want to invite everyone, if there is something blocking you, feel into it first of all. What fear is underlying this emotion here or this block? Looking at it, is this mine to work with or is this not mine to work with? Because your opportunity is really just bringing it to light. And it is bringing it to light so that it can be worked on and so that it can be released. And what the challenge is because we do face fears and we do live with fears. And that's why I think one of the characteristics of a soulpreneur is always doing the work. They're always evolving and growing, facing their fears and doing the work. Because what we had talked about is, if not, it creates filters. And when you are receiving services, from someone that is communicating through their filter, they're going to color what they're saying to you. And we had shared some examples and stories about what that looked like. And it can be people guiding you down the wrong path and giving you advice that isn't true advice. So I really take it with a lot of personal integrity to look at myself, do the work, and make sure that I am not projecting, that I am working on my stuff, that what comes up is being addressed. Otherwise, we do have that opportunity to project our fears or our challenges through the filters that we use and the filters that we talk.
Right. And one of the things that I teach with filters is that we start getting filters the minute we're born.
Yep.
We start getting filters through our family, through our whatever religion we might have been raised in, whatever community we were raised in, the schools we went to. Everything creates filters. Our relationships with our siblings, everything creates filters. Mm-hmm. And we just get to a point where we don't even understand we're functioning within filters.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I teach is to be aware of the filters that we have. What about filters you don't? Thank you, Keith. You don't know you have. That's one of the things that I teach is how to find those filters. How do you step into a point where you're going, ooh, probably shouldn't have said that. That didn't ring true with me. And the better we get to know ourselves, the more we become aware of those filters. And just really, for me, it's a matter of bringing spirit in and setting my brain in a box. Basically, when I go to work with people, I want to set that ego in a box and close the lid and then go to work, because that's where the filters are, is in the ego. Mm-hmm. That's where the filters are. And so it's really, it's interesting how you and I say the same thing in different ways. I love that.
Me too. If I can share too, that's where, if you're feeling like you're competing and someone is in the same niche as you and you want to compete against that person, you might then carry that competitive energy. If you sit in your heart, it's really about collaboration. It's knowing, for example, that Christina and I talk about the same thing and we do it differently, and people will resonate with Christina and people will resonate with me. And together we are helping humanity and we are raising consciousness, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'm just looking through my notes here and let's see. Managing energy versus working on marketing. Let's talk about that, because when we're not in a good space and we're trying to market what we're doing, doesn't work. Every single time does not work.
That was almost me this morning. So it was a really good example. So when we market, right, when we come online and having this conversation like we are today, we are emitting our vibrational frequency. We are communicating with our vibration and our energy And our words that we're choosing as well carry energy. So Christina and I'm going to speak with you, know how to have the 3D experience, the full dimensional experience when you're talking with us, right? And so if we are having a really bad day, and I'm sorry I keep talking for you, but if I'm having a bad day and if I'm not in a good place, it is going to appear in my conversation or appear in connecting with someone. So sometimes I explain it, like yesterday, I was exhausted and, I was with some people. I'm like, I'm just really low energy today. So excuse me, I had a big weekend, and sometimes I was designed or meant to go live and I said, nope, not doing it today because I need to, it's not optimal for my energy to communicate right now.
Right. And even if I'm creating a meme or whatever to promote something,
Yep.
If I'm not in a good place when I create it, that energy carries through. And I can tell you why, because I don't get any response to it. All right. With that, we're going to take a quick break and we will be back speaking more with Kelly Geisler Wilson.
Looking to launch your new masterpiece? Then try something new with Moonbow Publishing and Production. At Moonbow, we have a strong desire to serve authors in a powerful and meaningful way. After all, you poured your heart and soul into your writing, and we fully understand and respect that. Remember this: you will own the copyright to your work. You will have the final say on your work before being published. Even after all of that, we've saved the best for last. We won't take a percentage sold. Nope, not a penny. Excited about MoonbowPublications.com yet? We thought so. Take advantage of our company's services like book editing, formatting, and covers, publishing, and photography. Moonbow Publishing and Productions has everything you are looking for in a company. Remember, we will not keep any commissions. We are a boutique publishing company focusing on spiritual, health and wellness, and personal growth genres. Moonbow Publications and Productions, a new kind of publishing company.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I am Christina Bloom with Be the Change Radio on WLTK-DB.com Paranormal Talk Radio. It is 21 minutes past the hour, and I am back here with Kelly Geisler Wilson, and we are talking about soulpreneurship, inviting versus sales. There is so much that is changing, even within the metaphysical and spiritual community, the way that we do business. There's, like you said before, if you're competing with someone else, you're probably not in the right headspace to be doing spiritual work. And that's a filter. If you feel like that's a scarcity filter. And let's talk about that a bit, because that's really big in the spiritual community. There's a lot of fear and scarcity and poverty mindset and this weird idea that we're not supposed to prosper. I don't know where that comes from. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and lack consciousness, right? Mm-hmm. There's not enough to go around.
Right.
There's not enough clients. There's not enough money. There's limitations on everything. That is all the scarcity mindset. I recognize that. I don't subscribe to that. Like, I want soulpreneurs to get paid very well for doing what they love and delivering a really good service, and you are 100% right. There is a lot of mindsets out there, and it comes from our conditioning. Like we said, filtering earlier on, I use the word conditioning. We get conditioned from our parents. We get conditioned from society. And even our ancestral line of abundance. I am worthy of getting paid extremely well for my services. That is a self-worth mindset, right? I am worthy of receiving an abundance of money. And that's doing the inner work there and discovering what is creating that lack or scarcity mindset. Is it that there's not enough clients out there to support me? And this is funny because when I first went into business, I was helping single women, and my husband wondered if I would be able to find enough clients. I'm like, 500 million people are women, and probably half of those are single. There's enough people out there. I can find clients.
Absolutely. Yes.
So you can break it down into like, why am I subscribed? So first of all, generate awareness. Am I subscribing to lack and scarcity? That's awareness is key, because if you don't know about it, you can't change it. Where is this coming from? What is the belief that I'm believing? Ask yourself, is it true? Great example. You're not going to find anyone. Well, let's break that down. I support, at the time, single women. That is, I don't know how many million people on the planet. I am going to be able to find people. So you break down your limiting beliefs and challenge them. Is it absolutely true? No, it's not absolutely true. So then recreate a new story.
And a lot of times those beliefs, especially because I've been doing this for 21 years now, that belief sometimes comes from the outside. Like, well, what right do you have to charge me for that? You're not doing anything. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay, here, I'll tell you what, you stand here and let this full force of the universe hit you for a solid hour and then tell me I'm not doing anything. It's crazy, but there is still not as much now, but there is still some of that out there. Like, well, it's a God-given gift. You can't get paid for that. Well, there are lots of singers out there with God-given gifts getting paid really well.
So my business coach gave me the best analogy or the best advice, which was, don't compare yourself to other people's prices, because
Right.
you are only comparing yourself to their limiting beliefs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's all self-worth. It is self-worth work. And I'm a fan of, if you're just starting out, I'm certainly a fan of crawl, walk, run. Start at one price. And then, so I always, like it was here, and then I would raise it, and then I would see evidence and proof that people would buy my services at the new level. And so I say that because when you recognize evidence of your new belief, that is like lifting weights as you're developing a new muscle, right? And we're building muscle memory. That's what it is. And so if you look at evidence, you're making that muscle stronger and saying, oh, there's proof someone, is my services are worth that because someone just paid for it. And then when you're ready for the next one, recognize that is evidence that you can
Absolutely.
that amount and you can receive that amount.
Absolutely. And it's not even really about money. It's about energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's about an energy exchange. If someone just receives and receives and receives and receives and they never give back any, then that's hurting them.
And can I offer this interesting phenomenon in the coaching space, which is if you give away a $20, this has happened to me. If you give away a program or undercharge your program, people are going to show up half. Or they're going to miss it. They're going to be a no-show. They're not going to do the homework. They're not going to get the transformation or receive the transformation that they signed up for. And yet when they put in the money, it's kind of like they put the skin in the game. They're going to show up bigger for that. And so there is a correlation with the more money you invest in yourself, the more you're going to show up. Thus, the more you're going to get out of the program.
Absolutely.
But if you're looking for all those free programs, you're not getting the transformation that you're seeking.
Right, because you're not investing.
Yes. Yeah. No. It's a word we talked about words are powerful. That is a good example. Investing in yourself and what that means.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when people are first starting out, sometimes they don't have what it takes to invest financially, but you can get there. You can
be resourceful too. There's a crazy amount of opportunities and resourcefulness to, I have things to sell in my house, right? You can find $1,000 to sell.
Right. Definitely. Let's talk a little bit about inner competition. What am I ignoring in myself? That was something that we had discussed too. And the inner competition, like I am in competition with who I used to be kind of, and I'm also kind of in competition with who I'm becoming, because it challenges me to step up and to do more and to be more and to meet those challenges to get to the next level of who I am and who I'm becoming.
Yeah, I don't remember using the word competition. I remember, and it's giving me pause to think about what moves me. There's an
Mhm.
inner drive. There is an inner drive to continuously expand and grow, right?
Yes.
And to be who I was meant to be, who I am meant to be. And I say it like that because I don't know who I'm meant to be. I do know, right? Um, I believe my life purpose and everyone's life purpose is to be the authentic expression of themselves. I don't know what that looks like, but I do know it's to be the authentic expression of yourself. And then I believe your soul purpose is serving, making a contribution and making an impact and contributing to the collective experience in however your soul is called to serve. And so what I think we had talked about too was, I did a pivot recently in my career, and what was interesting was I was still not expressing myself. I was still not honest with myself. And I was still avoiding things that were right in front of me to say, Kelly, you're still playing small. I was still in November. I was still playing small. I was still playing safe. And, it was I put the pen down and I just started listening again to myself. And instead of avoiding those whispers, I, brought the stool up and said, let's have a conversation. And it was, oh, okay, yes. And it's funny because it was all perfect timing. I could not have been that version of myself in January of last year. December of 2021 was the perfect timing to have that conversation. I was no way the person, 11 months earlier to step into that role, but December I was. And the alignment when you say yes to yourself and to what wants to be expressed from you is incredible.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And I've gone through that process. I don't even know how many times over the last 21 years. I've just lost track of how many times. The first time it's the hardest because you've never done it before.
Yeah.
And then the second time it gets a little easier. And then the third time it gets a little easier. And then when it comes up, you realize, okay, this is a pattern. I know what to do.
Yep.
Let's just do it. And then you get through it more quickly and more easily, and you get to that next step.
Yep.
Ironically, what happens is that the more that we have grown and the more that we've expanded and ascended and whatever other word you want to put on it, when old things come up, they're much deeper old things because they were buried so much deeper. And then they come up and it's like, really? I dealt with this 20 years ago.
Again? Like, do I really have to do this again?
Yes. Guess what? As long as we're in bodies, we're going to be dealing with it. That's the way it's going to work. But it is remarkable, though, that we can create patterns of how to deal with all those, like out of nowhere. Sometimes I'll be cruising along. I'll be doing great. I've been doing some expansion this year. I've got, it's like the word of the year, which I've never done before, but this year I chose one. That word is reach.
Okay.
My voice will be heard around the world this year. And I'm making sure that happens. A year ago, I couldn't have done it. Right? Just like you. A year ago.
Awesome.
Couldn't have done it. This year, I'm like, all right, I've got some direction. I've learned some things. I know where to go. But that fear that comes up, it was just like the day I opened my business. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why is this still happening? But it does. And that's the thing that I work with my clients on is you're not going backwards. You're going deeper. You're just going deeper.
And you're going into the unknown, and that is scary.
It is.
Right? So if you can work with uncertainty, and so like you said, the more you do it, the more you know how to navigate the transition, the space in between.
Yes.
Some call it the void.
Yeah, and it feels like a void, believe me.
So really that's what, I think that's what the difference is you start to learn to be comfortable in the void and to know you're going to come out the other side. You'll be okay. I'm having this vision of being on a roller coaster when you go in that tunnel and it's dark and then like you're out. But you have no idea what's happening inside that tunnel.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's kind of crazy, and looking at, balancing more the feminine and the masculine, where the masculine is more about competition and it is more about control and it is more about push, 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 push. And women have tried to fit into that role, and some of them have done it successfully. I don't know what kind of damage has been done to their soul in the process, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't work that way. It was never in me to work that way. So I prefer collaboration. I prefer, and honestly, if there has to be somebody in control, I really prefer it's me. but but it's my life, so I would like to be in control of my life as opposed to someone else being in control of that. But we did talk about collaboration versus competition. And when we can work together, we can all accomplish so much more. And I know that sounds hokey and it sounds like a Disney film or whatever, but it really is true. When we can work together, we can accomplish so much more and we can help so many more people.
Yeah, if I can speak to the masculine and feminine energies as well, to the the masculine energy is linear, it is drive, it is getting things done, it is doing. When it becomes wounded or toxic, that's when it becomes really competitive and overbearing and forceful, right? And so there is this shift in paradigm that's happening, and we're right in the thick of it right now. And it started rising, with the Me Too movement, where the feminine is no longer going to be repressed. And we had just talked about that earlier of, you want me to dim my light? I'm not letting you dim my light anymore, right? And so what I want to speak to is, so we're moving towards intuitive, based, like what I'm referring to, a heart center and soul center and energy aligned business, right? Intuition, flow, receptivity. The goal is not for us to completely flip into the feminine. The goal is for us to be in balance. Exactly. And that is through like inspired action. That is through having boundaries and structure to flow the feminine, flow the creativity, flow the inspiration to the manifested form, and that sort of thing. So it is a blend, and collaboration is a beautiful example. In collaboration, you still do things. You still want to go to, deliver something. Right. And we do it together instead of competing. The other thing, why do I feel so safe in collaboration? If you just tune out for a second, instead of, if you're feeling uncomfortable with collaboration, and what if I expose you to like my whole clientele and 25 people flock to you instead of me, right? And if you're faced with that fear right now, if you span out to the greater collective, you are being of service. Those 25 people are being served in however capacity they're being served. And just knowing you were part of it, you made that introduction, and knowing you are always supported, you are always held by the universe. Right. There is no separation. It's not, it's not, you get to be supported one day and you get to not be supported the other day.
Right. I agree.
Although we forget that, we do forget, and we do think that some days we are and some days we aren't.
Well, and some days we're lower energy.
Yep.
When I have lower energy, I'm not going to be accomplishing as much. I'm not going to be as good of a collaborator, even when I have lower energy days. And sometimes that just happens. Everybody has those. And I agree. It's the coming together, the balancing of the male and the female energies. And if you go back far enough in history, the women were completely in charge, and then it swung over to the men, and now it's kind of doing this, because that's the way a pendulum works.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way it works. And so, I am really enjoying the collaborations that I'm involved in right now. I just wrote, I don't even know what to call it. I guess a contribution to a book on heart set over mindset.
Nice.
Yeah. And very honored to be part of that collaboration. And I'm collaborating with a gentleman to do a retreat together.
Awesome.
So it's more balanced.
Yes.
And I'm really loving the collaborations that I feel like this whole year is going to be about collaborations. I'm very excited about that, and learning some new skills and doing some things I've always wanted to do, and reaching out for myself that way to keep feeding myself, because even with what I love to do, over time I burn out if I'm not introducing anything new.
Right.
If and I have been really excited about getting to know you, because your energy is just so amazing that I'm just like, oh God, yeah, I just talked to Kelly. I feel amazing.
We've had some awesome conversations. Well, and I'm hearing you say is like, if I'm stagnant, that shows up in my life. And if I'm continually expanding and growing and pulling in new creativity and inspirations, I mean, just think of collaboration leads to creativity, which leads to birthing new ideas. And again, that just, you're expressing yourself again. You're using all of you to bring something new that will help. I just don't think there's anything more sweeter than that.
I agree. And I caught part of your live today with Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really amazing, because I am watching two women who have been very frustrated with the way things were and decided to do something different. And both of you were just glowing.
Aw, thank you.
I just thought it was the most beautiful thing. I'm actually going to go back and rewatch it because I only caught part of it. But it was pretty amazing to watch you two beautiful women just glowing and lighting up and really bringing forth. And the I want to call it a center, but I'm not sure if that's right, where she is collaborating with other people.
Yep. It's a healing center, crystal shop. Yes. Local.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I will get there one of these days.
Yep.
I haven't gotten there yet. I know that they recently opened, but watching that collaboration come together, like kind of on the outside and watching it, because everyone who was involved in that, just love put into it.
Yes.
And watching it expand. And I'm just really excited. I've been seeing a lot of that lately, where people are like, I've always wanted to do this, and this is what I'm going to do. And just bringing that love out into the world. And even if they only serve a small community, the energy ripples out, those ripples.
Yeah. So you're feeling the impact. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Dawn and I went on the same journey last year of, at the end, it's a spoiler alert because you didn't see the end, and it's a 5-part series. The end of today's series was we chose ourselves. We chose ourselves over money. We chose ourselves over amazing careers. We chose ourselves because our soul was calling us to express ourselves differently. Right. And it's so cool because we both journeyed that, around the same time last year, and we had our own different experiences. One of the things that I'm really in service to as well, and you just reminded me of this, is to talk about the things people don't talk about it anymore, or haven't at all, and that was part of me reclaiming my voice, because I really allowed it to be suppressed in the corporate environment. And that was one of my biggest challenges I walked through last year, of reclaiming my voice. And so now I say those things, and I, we need to talk about these things to make a change. To be the change, we need to talk about the things that people are uncomfortable to talk about.
Right. Exactly. Like saying magic in a meeting.
Right.
If I have a meeting with somebody, that word comes up several times. I'm just saying.
I smile every time now when I hear the word, because it was the first domino, that really started things, like the final things in motion for me to leaving my corporate career and starting my own soulpreneur journey.
I love that. We're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, Kelly is going to grace us with a guided meditation.
Meet Nicole Strickland, one of the leading San Diego paranormal researchers. Nicole offers a gentle and humble approach to working with spirit energies. Being the founder of the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, Nicole is no stranger to the unknown. Due to Nicole's vast knowledge of the paranormal, She is widely sought after for speaking engagements on topics like children of the paranormal, paranormal investigation 101 and 102, history of spiritualism, and more. Not only does Nicole research the afterlife, but also writes about it, and is the author of several books pertaining to the paranormal and its history. She has appeared on television shows like My Ghost Story, Travel Channel's Famously Afraid, Good Morning San Diego, and more. Have a conference or event coming up? Contact Nicole on her website, authornicolestrickland.com. That's authornicolestrickland.com.
Hey, welcome back. We are here still with Kelly Geisler Wilson. It is, 44 minutes past the hour. That went fast.
It's always awesome chatting with you.
I know. I'm loving it. Before we get to the guided meditation that you're going to do, I want to put a plug in for Nicole Strickland because she's an amazing human being. I've been on her show a few times. Eventually, I'm going to have her on my show as well. But she's just amazing, caring, giving type of person like we have been talking about. Like she lives her authentic life, and it is so beautiful. And she was sharing the journey about her beloved cat recently passed. And she's been sharing that journey with us, and just really the authenticity. Yeah, I can say that word. Authenticity of just her feelings that she shared as she was going through that process. And Nicole, love you to pieces. Holding you in the highest light as you continue through your journey with Kaylee. All right. So,
Christina, Keith had one more question. I was reading the notes when we braked. He said, what about the concept that my abundance takes away from someone else's abundance?
Oh, take that question.
Yeah. So Keith, I'm going to gently invite you to, that is still limits, like you're putting limits on abundance. And abundance is always present, always available. So it still is lack consciousness. Everyone, it is your birthright to be abundant, and abundance is available for all. So I would invite you to check into what is that underlying mindset or that belief that you have about if you're abundant, it takes away from someone else. What's that connection there for you?
Yeah. And I would like to add to that. Thank you, Keith, for bringing that question up, because I know why you did it. And Keith is one of my longtime students and a good friend of mine. So I know why he was posing that question as a what if kind of a question. And there really is that some people really have that belief that if something good happens to them, that means that something bad had to happen to someone else, because there's, the checks and balances. And I personally have never subscribed to that. I believe that there's enough for everyone. We live in an abundant universe. And if something bad happens to someone else, I don't know how to address that necessarily, except that maybe it's part of their path. Maybe it's the result of a choice they've made. I've certainly had bad things happen in my life, but I can tell you I wasn't making good choices at the time either. So, there is that. Thank you for bringing that question up, Keith. So I think it is something that some people do believe, that if I have more, somebody else has to have less. Mm-hmm. All right. Kelly is going to take us out with a guided meditation this evening. So all of the disclaimers: sit back, relax, breathe, enjoy, unless you're cooking or driving or doing something else that's going to cause you danger if you close your eyes. All right. Go ahead, Kelly. It's all yours.
Absolutely. So I do invite you to sit back. That is in the receiving position. So just lean back and roll your shoulders back. And I invite you to put everything to one side and just receive a nice, deep cleansing breath in, and allow your awareness to come back inside of your own body. Sitting here for a moment, and being present with your breath. One big inhale, pausing at the top, and one big exhale and pausing on the out. One big inhale, pausing on the top, and just let it all out with your exhale. And one last time, one big inhale, and try to fill up your lungs to its most fullest capacity. Pause for a moment, and then letting it all out again in your exhale. And allowing your breath to connect you to the present moment, right here, right now. And on your next inhale, bring your breath all the way into your body, into your hips, down your legs, down into the soles of your feet, and into the center of the earth. And feeling your connection with Mother Earth. Staying here and feeling your connection with Gaia. Feeling the strength of the connection. And with your next inhale, energize the vibrational frequency of your connection with Gaia. Feel her heartbeat. Feel her strength. Relax into her support. Experience her depth. Feeling her arms enveloping around you and receiving her love. You are safe. You are held. You are supported. And on your next inhale, bringing that amazing energy back into your body, into the soles of your feet, up your legs, and connecting this energy with your heart. And allowing your heart to breathe you for a moment. As you inhale, your heart expands. And as you exhale, letting it go. Inhaling again as your heart expands. And releasing as you exhale. And one last time, this time with your inhale, notice the back of your heart expanding. And one more cleansing exhale. Feeling into this moment right here, right now, beginning of 2022. This is a sacred time of growth, development, transformation, and expansion, both on an individual level and a collective level. Using your breath to create a deeper, wider container around you filled with curiosity and possibility, where you can access all of your strengths, all of your resources, and all of the wisdom of your life experiences. With each breath, fully utilizing your own power, your love, your compassion, your creativity, bringing that fully online and available to support your growth and expansion right here, right now. Allowing your awareness to expand to the edges of the room, letting go of any need to know any of the answers to any of the questions. And moving into a place of receptivity. Stepping into an awareness that you are connected to an intelligence in the universe that is bigger than you, that is bigger than all of us. And you are one with the universe. You are love. You are clarity. You are wisdom. You are light. You are power. You are transformation. The universe is knowing itself uniquely as you. And breathing that in for a moment. Repeating after me, I am the universe, and the universe is knowing itself as me. With your breath activating oneness right now, amplifying oneness, feeling this connection that is always present and always available. And rooting into the knowing that all of life is organizing around your success. You live in a life positive universe. You are supported, you are resourced, and you are loved. Receiving all that in with your breath and deepening into your truth. Allowing yourself to open your inner eyes, listen with your inner ears, and becoming aware of all the feelings and sensations in your body and bringing this deeper into your knowing. And again, repeating after me, I am the universe. The universe is knowing itself as me. And on your next inhale, using your breath to expand your awareness to others in this collective experience. Feeling into the collective heartbeat, the one heartbeat, one breath. Amplifying the interconnectedness of all. Energizing collaboration. Amplifying peace. Vibrating love. And stepping into the knowing that rising tides lift all boats, and together we have the power to raise the consciousness of humanity. And breathing that knowing into your core of your being. Feeling into your part of the cosmic plan. Feeling into the clarity and wisdom of your soul's directive. And breathing that in for a moment. Opening your heart and receiving the wisdom of the intelligence that is guiding you in this moment. Inhaling through your heart and exhaling. And staying here with your soul's wisdom unfurling and informing. Your part of the cosmic plan is illuminating. And use the next minute or so to receive this download, the guidance of your soul.